HSAC to include as part of its 2012 legislative package a request to revise and clarify agricultural product branding and country or region of origin labeling as provided in Chapter 486 Hawaii Revised Statutes, HRS. Requests HSAC to include in its 2013 legislative package a draft bill to amend Chapter 486 HRS, Exhibit A, and attaches the justification sheet for this action, Exhibit B, introduced by Ms. Ford.
Ms. Ford?
Move to approve resolution 287-12.
Second. Second by Mr. Pilago. Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Okay, this was waived, so I would like to discuss it just briefly. Each year, each term, state, I send forward legislation to HSAC and usually directly to the state, trying to get the branding and labeling of our Hawaii agricultural products to contain the country of origin labeling, the and other truth in labeling aspects that all of the growers in Hawaii County are interested in. This is one that I produced last year, and it did not get anywhere, so I'm trying it again. I hope that everyone will support this so that we have identifiable geographical locations for our Hawaii-grown products. We have great products. They have international recognition, and we have imitations using our names to deceive the public. So this would hopefully stop that, and it's being given support by farm bureaus and several different agricultural organizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pilago.
Thank you, Chair Yagong, and thank you, Ms. Ford, for this resolution and this introduction. Should this council approve this resolution, I'll be honored and pleased to submit it for HSAC consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pilago. Let's go to Hilo. Anyone in Hilo on this resolution?
Real quick, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Yoshimoto.
I want to thank Ms. Ford for bringing this again forward. She has my full support. I completely agree with her concerns, and hopefully it'll get passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from Hilo? See none. How about back here in Kona? See none. Mr. Clark.
Mr. Blas.
Aye.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Akeda.
Aye.
Mr. Nishi.
Excuse.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Martin. Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
Chair Gong.
Aye.
Chair Gong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 287-12 passes. Let's go to Resolution 288-12.
Resolution 288-12 requests the Hawaii State Association of Counties, HSAC, to include in its 2013 legislative package an amendment to the Hawaii Revised Statute, Section 802-4, by amending the definitions of indigency and partial indigency for criminal defendants and establishes criteria to clearly delineate circumstances in which court-appointed counsel is necessary. The Council adopted Resolution Number 168-11 on October 5, 2011, requesting HSAC to include in its 2012 legislative package an amendment to the Hawaii Revised Statutes, HRS, Section 802-4, to amend the definitions of indigency and partial indigency for criminal defendants and to establish criteria to delineate circumstances in which court-appointed counsel is necessary. Requests HSAC to include in its 2013 legislative package a draft bill to amend Section 802-4 HRS Exhibit A and attaches the justification sheet for this action, Exhibit B, introduced by Ms. Ford.
Ms. Ford.
Move to approve resolution 288-12.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pilago. Any discussion, Ms. Ford?
Yes, thank you. Again, this one was waived, and so I'd like to have just a general discussion. One of the things, one of the objections I heard last year was that this would prevent certain people from getting a public defender, and there's nothing that could be further from the truth. This is to help more people get a public defender if they need it, because right now our state law says you're either indigent or you're not, but it doesn't spell out the terms and conditions for falling into the indigent classification, as you can see from Section 802-4. It also adds a section for partial indigency. People who might not fall into the category of 100% indigent but can pay something towards their legal fees could also get a public defender by paying a portion of those fees. This state doesn't even have that, and most other states do. So I hope that this explains a little bit about this. It sets up the qualifications. It uses federal guidelines from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to define what the poverty levels are and how much you have to make in order to, or not make, in order to be defined as indigent. It also defines the partially indigent, and it sets very low fees of $100 for misdemeanors and $250 for felonies if you're going to be required to pay a fee. We really need to make a change in our law to help those who cannot help themselves and also those who might be able to help themselves a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion here in Kona? Seeing none, how about in Hilo? Any discussion in Hilo? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Blas?
Aye.
Ms. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman?
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda?
Aye.
Mr. Pelago?
Aye.
Ms. Smart? Mr. Yoshimoto?
Aye.
Chair Yugon?
Aye.
Chair Yugon, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 288-12 passes. Let's go to Resolution 289-12.
Sir, if I may, before that, do we recall who made the second on 287?
Mr. Pilago.
287.
Oh, 287? Oh, I'm sorry, that was Mr. Hoffman.
Hoffman, thank you,
Yes.
sir.
So we're at 289-12.
Resolution 289-12, requests that the Hawaii State Association of Counties, HSAC, submit with its 2013 legislative package to the state legislature an amendment to Chapter 244D, Section 244D-4, Hawaii Revised Statutes relating to increasing the gallonage tax on liquor. The council adopted resolution number 157-11 on October 5, 2011, requesting HSAC to submit with 2012 legislative package an amendment to Chapter 244D, Section 244D-4 Hawaii Revised Statutes, HRS, relating to increasing the gallonage tax on liquor. Requests HSAC to include in its 2013 legislative package the draft bill to amend Chapter 244D, Section 244D-4 HRS, Exhibit A, and attaches the justification sheet for this action, Exhibit B. Includes language relating to revenues received from this tax increase and that it be placed into a special fund. Introduced by Ms. Ford.
Ms. Ford.
Thank you. Move to approve Resolution 289-12.
Second.
Couple of comments, sir?
1 second. Who made the second? Mr. Pilago. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, this one was waived to get it to the HSAC. The problem that we have in the state is that the counties are picking, all the counties are picking up the bill for accidents, especially those that are involved with DUI. It doesn't seem quite fair that the county's emergency services are picking up the entire bill. The cost for first responders, firefighters, EMS personnel, police officers, traffic division, and the office of the prosecuting attorney are paid by the respective counties, and they're not paid out of a state budget. What this bill would do is add a tiny bit extra to the gallonage tax. And I gave an example on page 2 and 3. You increase it by 10%, what the revenue increase would do. This money would be held in a special account at the state, and it would be distributed to the counties exactly in the amount that they put into it. So each county would get some revenue back to help pay for the police, the firefighters, the EMS, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping that you will pass this bill. We recently heard a plea from the police chief. Our DUI accidents and deaths are going up again, and we've got to do something about it. It seems reasonable that this tax would apply to those who are drinking, and not everybody drinks and drives. I understand that, but the problem is alcohol consumption and then driving. So we need to get some help to pay for the services that we provide. Thank you.
Any discussion here in Kona? Seeing none, how about in
Yes,
Hilo?
I'd like to speak.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Ikeda.
Is there anyone from liquor?
There's no one here in Kona unless
No,
there's
no,
someone
in Hilo we have one.
Okay, very good.
You know, my question is.
1 second, Mr. Ikeda.
Yes.
1 second. Please introduce yourself into the microphone, please.
Deputy Corporation Counsel, Molly Lugo, Gerald Takase, Director of the Department of Liquor Control, isn't available, so I'm here on his behalf.
You know, like I
Thank
said,
you.
I have nothing against this resolution. I just want to know, is it legal? Because from what what I know of the liquor laws, you know, it's the gallonage we collect is to run the liquor department and not, you know, and not to subsidize police, fire, or anything else. Is there something that we can do this? I looked at 244D-17, disposition of revenue, and it states all monies collected pursuant to this chapter into the state treasurer are state realization to be kept and accounted for as provided by law, and that's only states. But I don't remember the thing ever being used other than to run the liquor department. I could be wrong, but I would like to hear from you.
Okay, well, to be honest, this is the first time looking at this resolution about an hour ago, when I was asked to come down, but if I understand correctly, the proposal is to amend chapter 244 so that it provides that the increase in the gallonage tax, which currently only goes to the state, would that increased revenue from the tax would be distributed to the counties and put in a special fund. I don't think there's anything illegal about that. Right now, the gallonage tax only goes to the state, and the counties doesn't see any of that revenue.
Well, as long as it's not illegal, I got no problem. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kidd. Anything else from Hilo? If not, I'm gonna come back to Ms. Ford. Seeing none, Ms. Ford?
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the Deputy Corporation Counsel explaining that, one, this is not illegal. Secondly, it's a special fund that would come back to the county because currently nothing comes back to the county. That's the problem. We're picking up all the expense of cleaning up after these problems, and we're not getting any revenue for it. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Blas.
Aye.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman. Aye. Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Pelago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart.
Aye.
Mr. Yoshimoto.
Aye.
That's an aye.
Carry on.
Aye.
We're going to have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 289-12 passes. Mr. Clerk, 290-12, please.
Resolution 290-12 appoints a new Hawaii County Council alternate representative to serve on the Hawaii State Association of Counties HSAC Executive Committee. Appoints Council Member Dennis Fresh Onishi as an alternate representative to serve on the HSAC Executive Committee, replacing Council Member Smart, whose term expires on December 3, 2012. Introduced by Mr. Pelago.
Mr. Pelago?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A motion to approve resolution 290-12.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
No second? Motion fails due to no second.
No, there's a second in Hilo.
Hello.
Oh, there's a second? Okay, I didn't hear. Was there a second? Who's
Yes.
that?
It's
Mr. Blas?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, need to get that microphone on. We didn't hear it Kona. Thank you. Okay, so there's a motion by Mr. Pelago, seconded by Mr. Blas. Discussion, Mr. Pelago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was urged by the executive committee to move forward this motion concurrent with the HSAC legislative package inclusions. The original resolution that I had framed and formatted actually moves myself as the prime representative and the alternate Ms. Smart. Both of us would move out of the way at present, but the executive committee asked that I sit on one more Western region discussion before I leave. So I'm introducing another resolution in the future that takes me out of that mix also. But that was it. If there's any hard feelings, I apologize for that. But the executive committee of HSAC asked for a smooth transition, and this is what was urged in that case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pelago. Go ahead, Ms. Hoffman.
Just a clarification for myself, it's the resolution or the agenda item says that Ms. Smart's term expires on 3 December. So is she still the alternate to 3 December?
Not,
Mr. Pelago?
not according to this, no.
That isn't what the agenda item indicates. The agenda item indicates very clearly that Mr. Onishi would be replacing Ms. Smart, whose term expires on December 3rd, 2012.
I think the
Uh,
reference to this is probably that her council term expires December 3rd, 2012, not the term of being an HSEC alternate. That's how I interpret it, unless I'm wrong. Mr. Pelago, could you clarify that?
That was my original, and I'm sorry for not being clear on it.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't have.
What would you suggest I do with this resolution?
I would, in order to make sure, Mr. Chair, I would suggest that we withdraw this particular one, rewrite it, and then revisit this issue at the next meeting. It's not going to impact any HSAC affairs, is it?
Very well, I see your point. I'd be willing to make Mr. Clerk, how do I make a motion to withdraw? Do I just withdraw?
Sure, you just withdraw your motion.
Okay, 1 second. Mr. Hoffman, you still have the floor.
Well, that was going to be my one question. Can I ask the second question
Okay, go ahead.
that I had? I do think withdrawal is a good idea at this point. I'm only concerned that this council makes a determination on Mr. Onishi, which is fine as far as I'm concerned. But the new council may have some completely different approach to this issue, and Mr. Onishi may be needed in some other capacity that would conflict with this. I hesitate to think that this council would place itself in a position that would deny the new council an opportunity to consider how they want to be organized. And I consider this particular nomination and position to be equally as important as the planning committee. I don't believe that you want to have this council determining for the next council who the finance committee chairman should be. So I wonder whether this is really an appropriate action to be taken in the first place.
Shall I respond?
1 second. Mr. Pelago, then I'll go to Ms. Smart.
Very
With
good.
Mr. Pelago.
In line with that, I'd still be willing to withdraw. And, but the floor, I don't make that motion at present.
Okay, good. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Smart.
Thank you. Where I see where Mr. Pelago is Mr. Hoffman is coming from, if you read the second whereas clause, it says, both Councilmember K. Angel Pelago and Councilmember Brittany Smart will not serve as HSAC representative and alternate after their terms expire on December 3rd. This clearly matches exactly what the agenda says, if you look at the second whereas clause. And all it's saying is after December 3rd, it would be Mr. Onishi as the alternate and Mr. Pelago as the main. The way it's written, that's what it says, and that matches the current agenda item. Just wanted to clarify with what I'm reading versus what is on the agenda versus what the intent is. But I completely agree with Mr. Hoffman about making decisions for the future council.
Okay, 1 second. Let's go to Hilo, if there's anybody from Hilo.
Yes, Mr. Chair?
Okay, go ahead. Is that fresh?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, if there is problems, then yeah, just let's retry it, because I don't care if I'm on HSAC or not. But the thing is, what I understand is that this is being offered to me, and what I'm gonna do is just take care of from, like, what is today, August 15th till the end of November 30th of 2012. And then when the new council come in, then they'll appoint the representative of HSAC and the alternate. But it's just now, what I'm understanding is, I'm gonna just replace Brittany Smart. But if Mr. Hoffman wants it how it is, then fine, I don't care. Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
first of all, just for, okay, thank you. Just for clarification, every new council that comes in the new term, you know, besides setting forth the chairman and all that stuff and the committee chairpersons, also part of that, the system is to also select the HSAC representative and the alternate. So there's no question in my mind that the new council, when they come in, come December 4th, would have that opportunity to do that, and they can name whoever they want. So in my mind, what we're trying to do here, or this what is being presented, is to have a Mr. Onishi replace Ms. Smart right now. Yeah, if this is passed, it would happen right now until the end of the year. So anyway, just to clarify that. Mr. Yoshimo, you wanted to say something?
Real quick, yeah, Mr. Yagon, you
Okay.
are completely correct, accurate. It's simple. It's just Mr. Onishi is just coming in for the remainder of this term. The next council has the prerogative and opportunity to make any changes it sees fit, so it's not complicated. Thank you, Mr. Yagong, for clarifying that.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Pilato, I'll leave it up to you. So, what you'd like to do with the resolution?
Thank you very much, Chair Yagong. All the comments are valid and very good, and I understand what is being said. I do at this time make a motion to withdraw Resolution 290-12.
Okay, the maker of the resolution withdraws, so I think that's all we need at this time. So it is considered withdrawn. Thank you. With that said, Mr. Clerk, let's go to Resolution 291-12.
Resolution 291-12 requests that the Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Commission identify the coastal lands of O'Olma 2 in the District of North Kona, County of Hawaii as number 1 on the prioritized list of qualifying lands worthy of preservation. The Council unanimously adopted Resolution number 276-12 on August 1, 2012, which requested the Mayor to authorize the Director of Finance to enter into negotiations for the acquisition of tax map key numbers 37-3-009:004 and 37-3-009:22, known as the coastal lands of O'Olma 2. Prioritizing the property as number 1 will not interfere with the purchase of properties that are currently in negotiations for purchase by the Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Commission. And the Mayor has indicated to the community that he would immediately, upon negotiations with the owner, if it is designated number 1 on the island-wide prioritized list of qualifying lands worthy of preservation. Introduced by Mr. Pilato.
Mr. Pilato.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my privilege to move to approve Resolution 291-12.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ford. Go ahead, Mr. Pilato.
Thank you, sir. This is a very important resolution with across-the-board support from cultural and traditional practitioners, from environmentalists, and from the general community. I think it's a good thing that every once in a while we come across an item that everybody agrees to, all the political bodies and everybody that makes up our community. And I ask for across-the-board support for its passage. I wish to clarify one point, and that's on page 2, the ninth whereas. The ninth whereas reads, whereas prioritization of the property as number 1 will not interfere with the purchase of properties that are currently in negotiations for purchase by the Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Commission, of course, and now therefore. And what I wish to clarify is that there are already items that are in negotiations and some near completion. We don't wish to upset that list of currently arranged and currently discussed negotiated points. This is only to move all of those and not impact that list, but to move wherever O'Olma is presently, to move it up in the list so it be the next in line for discussions and negotiations. And that's why that whereas is inserted. Again, I ask for your consideration and approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Ford.
Thank you. Mr. Van Bergen, would you come forward, please?
Just for the record, sir, introduce yourself to the microphone.
Ken Memberg, property manager, County of Hawaii.
Thank you. Mr. Van Bergen, I really appreciate that Mr. Pelago has added this whereas clause that nothing else will be displaced. I think that's really wonderful. Would you just briefly, for the council, explain how your department, because you're finance and you're the property manager, how you go about acquiring the parcels that the council approves to be acquired?
Well, each transaction is a little bit different.
Can you
Right
get the
now,
mic closer to you, please?
each transaction is a little bit different, but right now, just kind of give you some of where we're at with present negotiations. We drafted a purchase agreement for the Po'iki properties down in Puna, and the acquisition price is about 1.5, a little bit more. And so that
Keep going.
that acquisition is going to take a little bit of time because it's conservation land, and the parcel is approximately 35 acres, and they're actually subdividing 26 acres out. So it has to go to the BLNR board for approval. Once that happens, we can move to our planning department, get the subdivision done, and move forward. So our balance is about 2.4 million right now, So if you do the math, that leaves about 900,000, assuming that acquisition goes through. We have a couple of properties that have been in discussions with the owners for quite a while, some a couple of years, and one would be Catalina South, up there in Kohala.
Oh, say that again?
Catalina South.
Okay.
We refer to it as Catalina South. It's actually 6 parcels. We've already purchased 3, and there's 3 left. If we go off the appraised value, the appraisal is getting a little bit dated, so we might have to order a new appraisal. Based on the old appraisal, about 4.6. We have a grant of 1.65. That's about 2.9 million out of pump funds for that purchase if we were to move forward. We also have a acquisition that was approved by the council for Kauku down in Kau. And I saw the paper this morning. There was an article about some of the grant money being awarded for that property. We've gotten both federal and state lands. If you do the math on that one, and the 2.4 appraisal price, about 1.8 in grants, it's about 600,000 out of the pump fund. And then we have a couple Red Banyans. That was number 1 on last year's list. That was approved to purchase. We haven't got an appraisal on that yet. And so those are probably the top 4 properties that we're actually actively in negotiations now on at some point in the transaction. Okay.
Thank
Did that
you.
answer your question?
Yes, it does. The question I would like to ask of Mr. Pilago, and let me explain why I'm asking this, because I support this, all right? But there's actually 2 parcels of land. There's the shoreward parcel, and then there's the industrial parcel that's up near the highway. I don't know if it's zoned industrial, it's zoned commercial or something, but it's up near the highway. And I'm not sure that it shows on here which parcel has how much land. Is it the intent of this to purchase both parcels or just the shoreward parcel, which is the majority of the land?
Spilago?
Thank you, sir. I would very much like to purchase both parcels, but I think the impetus is to at least acquire the conservation parcel.
Okay.
But I certainly feel that if possible and if able to, we should acquire both.
Okay. Just for the record, I've said this before, when this, OMA has been in front of the community, the council, the state land use commission 3 times now, and it keeps failing. And it fails for good reason, and that is the community wants the shoreward side of this parcel, the conservation parcel, for community use and not to be developed. For the record, I want the public to understand that Mr. Pilago and I, in the very beginning of this, approached the landowner and offered to work with the governor's office to try to exchange the conservation parcel, in fact, both parcels of land, both. Try to exchange that for some state land, make this a state park, which ultimately the county would take over. Our offer was rejected. So there may be other ways to acquire this land at a lower price because it is expensive right now. And a land swap may be something that your department could look at in order to get this quickly under state control so that it isn't developed and not have to wait until we accumulate a lot of money. I know Mr. Pilago and I were very, very concerned that this land would be purchased and developed. And so we made those offers in good faith, and as I said, we were rejected. I have to let you know about this, Mr. Van Bergen, because it's still an option that you may be able to use to help acquire this land faster than, the whole process that it would normally go through.
I think, but that also would require a separate resolution authorizing us to exchange a particular county land, and you'd have to tell me what land you want to exchange, because I don't know the lands we have at this
Okay.
point that would
The
qualify.
county doesn't have much land, but the state does.
Mhm.
So the resolution would have to be something that we would send to the state, maybe to the governor's office, and say, we're hoping you'll help us with this. And Mr. Pilago, are you interested in that? I'll let you speak to that.
Well, the
I'm
only
not
thing is
finished.
that the land exchange is not part of what we're discussing.
Okay.
So, yeah, that may be something to actually pursue, but it's not part of what we've been discussing on the floor right
Okay.
now.
And I support this. We need to stop fighting over this parcel of land. Certainly the conservation land, we need to get into the public domain. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Further discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Pilago.
Thank you. And just to follow up and add on to Councilmember Floyd's comments, and all we're asking is, it's been a long and confronting process that we've gone through in the past. And Councilmember Ford and this council and myself, we want to avoid those kinds of adversarial type of discussions and move it to a more a better place. And we're just asking you and the administration to consider this flexibility that is accorded to you. As Councilmember Yagon points out very well, in that we will not discuss that anymore, nor designate any place. That's not what we're here for. But we do need to move forward for the betterment of the community. And we do wish to take this opportunity to give you our support in your discussions to be innovative, so you come through with a very positive conclusion in your deliberations. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Mr. Pilago. Let's go to Hilo. Any discussion out of Hilo? See none. How about here in Kona? See none, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Blas.
Aye.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart. Mr. Yoshimoto.
He left, he had to go, do an errand.
Okay,
Chair
excused. Chair votes aye.
Chair Gong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. Resolution 291-12 passes. Let's go to Resolution 292-12, please.
Resolution 292-12 directs the clerk of the County of Hawaii to take necessary action to place the charter amendment proposed by ordinance number 12-110 on the 2012 general election ballot. Ordinance number 12-110 proposes an amendment to the Hawaii County Charter to create a game management advisory commission. Directs the clerk to take all necessary steps provided for in all applicable provisions of the Hawaii County Charter and Hawaii revised statutes within the prescribed time limits, replacing the charter amendment proposed by ordinance number 12-110 on the 2012 general election ballot for approval by the voters of the county, introduced by Mr. Yagon.
Mr. Pilago?
Thank you, Chair Yagon. Motion to approve Resolution 292-12.
Second by Mr. Hoffman. Discussion? Wait, Mr. Pilago.
I'll be very brief. I'm glad we're near conclusion of this. It moves out of the council and now the resolution to the chair, to the clerk, from the chair to the clerk, for the people to decide, and I'm very pleased with that action.
Thank you. Any discussion? Further discussion? Ms. Ford?
Just that I am very pleased that we've reached the point of putting this on the ballot, as Mr. Pilago said, for the people to decide. I have been supportive of this from the beginning. It passed the council unanimously, and it needs to be something that the people decide on. So I hope all the council members will continue to support this. Thank you.
Any discussion out of Hilo? See none here in Kona. Just want to echo the statements that have been made, that we look forward to having this on the ballot in November, and certainly I do hope that the people of the County of Hawaii does support this, because I think it will be very useful to the residents here in the County of Hawaii, especially those that understands the importance of gathering and traditional hunting and fishing here in the county and state of Hawaii. So thank you for the support. Mr. Clerk, go ahead.
Mr. Blas.
Aye.
Ms. Ford.
Aye.
Mr. Hoffman.
Aye.
Mr. Ikeda.
Aye.
Mr. Onishi.
Aye.
Mr. Pilago.
Aye.
Ms. Smart. Chair Gong.
Aye.
Chair Gong, you have 8 ayes.
Thank you. 292-12 passes. Mr. Clerk, let's see. Let's skip page 5. We already did that items. Let's go to page 6, Bill 280.